Putting it down. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Season 12 updated weapons tier list. Today we're going to be breaking down all the best weapons in Apex from start to finish in order, S tier down to D tier. We're rating everything from floor loot weapons to care package weapons. We got the whole tier list here in front of me. Apex has come a long way. I'm pretty sure this game started with like 3 guns and now we have 28 total weapons. There's a lot to sort through. I'm pretty sure everybody knows what some of the best are, but I can guarantee you there will be a couple surprises today that kind of catch you off guard. Let's do this. What we should start with, maybe we should just kind of do this in the same order that we did all of the heirlooms. We'll go left to right, kind of like you read a book, all the way down to the second row, and then we'll finish off with the wingman. We're gonna start with its big brother, Mr. Repeater here though. I'm freaking excited, bro. This is gonna be fun. I had so much fun doing the heirloom tier list, bro. A lot of you guys wanted to see legends or weapons next. I feel like legends is gonna take a whole lot more thought and effort, so I wanted to take a bit more time to scheme, research, plot, develop, because it is a movie out here when we be doing this. All right, 30-30 repeater. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of annoyed we're starting with this because it's kind of like, I think we started with Bangalore's heirloom last tier list and I didn't know where to put it. 30-30 is a good weapon. It's sturdy, it hits hard, it's got shatter caps, it's got dual shell, it's come a long way. It used to be absolutely terrible. Hear me out, chat. If you're good with the weapon and you hit your hip fire shots, because that's mainly how you'll be using it up close, it can be really, really good. So I think putting it any higher than B tier, it'd be cap. It'd be cap if I put it above B tier. Whenever I see a 30-30 on the floor, in comparison to something like a wingman, even though it's almost the same purpose, I don't get nearly as excited. So I honestly want to put it in B tier because I know it has a lot of potential. I don't think it's a C tier weapon. There's definitely guns that are worse than the 30-30. So I think that's going to be first pick of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. That is where our 30-30 will reside. Overrating it, D at best. See, but you have to respect its potential, chat. That's the thing with these weapons. Next up, we have the alternator. This is the first weapon. A lot of you guys might disagree, bro. People were fuming about my heirloom tier list. So God knows what they're going to think about the weapon tier list. This is my first A tier weapon. I'm sorry if you disagree. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry, because it is truthfully A tier. I will take the alternator over a car SMG, over an R99, and over Prowler like 50% of the time. I'm not even joking. It's so good at range, it's consistent, it does a ton of damage, and the hip fire is better than any of the other SMGs. It's my go-to, bro. It's just straight up my go-to. A lot of you guys are saying B tier. I see B tiers. Reapers agrees. It's an A tier gun. Now listen, we haven't gotten to the car yet, chat. We haven't gotten to the car. Okay, I'm just saying, for me personally, the gun's A tier. I didn't say it was better than anything else yet. Hold your horses. Mr. and Mrs. Tilted in the chat. Take it easy. All right. Next up, the bow check, the bowcock, the thundercock. Where are we going to put this guy? Ooh. I feel like, I'm not gonna lie, chat, I feel like this tier list is off to an extremely rough start. I feel like a lot of you guys are already kind of like, what the hell is he thinking? Bowcheck's one of my favorites. I will admit it does have a weakness of close range, but at range, if your shot is on, it do slap. A lot of you guys are saying C tier, D tier, B tier, D tier, C tier, B tier, C tier. I mean, I'm trying to be honest with when I'm looking for my long range weapons, because like I said, I always rock an automatic gun and then I rock a single fire gun, like a alternator wingman or an alternator bowcheck. This is one of my top tier choices for a secondary weapon at range. If it's not a wingman, it's a bowcheck bow. So I'm gonna put the bowcheck bow in A tier. It is one of the best range weapons in the whole game, bro. I know a lot of people don't like rocking, like a lot of you guys are probably like, I'm gonna rock a R99 and a fucking Prowler. Like, where's your diversity? Where's your play styles? You know what I'm saying? Next up, the car SMG. Notorious, absolutely devastating, brutal. It'll fry you up. You better hide your children, hide your wives when someone's carrying this thing, okay? This thing for me is definitely S tier. I see a lot of you guys saying S tier, A plus, S tier. Some of you saying B tier. If you're saying B tier, it's just because you can't control the recoil. I'm the bearer of bad news. It is S tier. I love the alternator, but it has to go above it because it shreds people, bro. Like it's a little bit broken right now. It fires better than the R99 and it's very easy to one clip people. Next up, charge rifle. Charge rifle, I don't care how good you say this gun is. If you use this thing, you probably play Warzone or Roblox on the weekends. It's just bad F tier. I'm not even gonna explain it. I'm gonna be real. I'm not even gonna take the time to explain it. If you don't agree with me on this weapon being F tier, we're never gonna see eye to eye. It's like, we're just not gonna discuss it, okay? It is what it is. Havoc. Havoc is, Havoc slept on. I'm not gonna lie. Havoc is slept on. Really good gun. I don't think it's as good as it was, let's say last season or the season before that. Every season, it just kind of feels like guns get ghost nerfed or something, and it just feels different. I personally don't really care if the Havoc has a turbocharger on it or not. If it has a turbocharger, I'm like, all right, sweet. It's a nice little bonus, but I don't think it doesn't affect the way I overall see the weapon. It doesn't really matter to me. I'm going to put the Havoc in, I'm going to say B tier. For sure. It's a very solid gun, and it's definitely above the 30-30 repeater, so we'll move it in front of that. It's a good gun. I'll take it. If you want to get up close, hip fire with it, you're getting shredded. You know what I'm saying? Next up, the Devotion. Oh man, I want to put Devotion in F tier just because I hate it, but if I'm going to be brutally honest, Devotion's not F tier. It's just not. It's not a bad gun. It is below certain weapons that I would consider C tier. F tier is straight in the trash bin. D tier is like, it's just not good. It might be good to some people. I just don't like it at all. You guys are saying C tier, C tier, C tier. I don't like I don't want to put it in C tier, chat. It's not C tier to me. I'll put it in D tier. I'm putting it in D tier. It's gross. A gun that I would consider C tier, chat. A C tier gun in my opinion is the EVA 8. If I find the EVA 8, you know, I would have been happier finding a 30-30 or a Havoc. It's not really a weapon I get upset when I find, but I don't exactly get any sense of joy out of it. Very C tier weapon for me. You say D tier, but Eva's like it's reliable. It's a shotgun. You know what I mean? The fire rate's slow. You get a purple bolt on it though. You can clap up some bodies. I don't mind it. I don't mind it at all. So I'm gonna leave that in good old C tier here. Next up, Flatline. Flatline for me, 100% S tier. Flatline is, and matter of fact, I'm put Flatline in front of the car. Flatline is just so, it's S++. You guys are saying S++, S tier, SS tier. It's so good at everything. You can literally fry people quicker than they can kill you with a PK sometimes. You can contest any SMG up close with it because the hip fire is so strong. And if you got good recoil control, bro, the thing's a laser beam at range. It's actually stupid. We're just living in the Flatties world. Moving on though, this is our first heirloom gun. I'm gonna look at the G7. This is what I'm gonna do. Since this is a season 12 tier list, I will respect the fact that it is an heirloom gun and weigh it by its heirloom power. I don't think the G7's an S tier gun, even as an heirloom gun. I would consider it, see, like, it depends on what you, if you're a mouse and keyboard player, I can see why people would love it. As someone who mainly plays controller, I kind of, the double tap hop up though, they reduce the recoil on it, so it's honestly pretty sturdy. I'm personally tied between A tier and B tier. If I'm rocking a Bowcheck bow and the Bowcheck's fully kitted and I have an alternator, I think I would just stick with the combo instead of picking up a G7 Scout. You guys say A tier, B tier, B plus, B. I feel more B tier. It's kind of right there with the 30-30 repeater. I will put it in front of the 30-30 repeater, but it's definitely not beating out the Havoc for me. I'd much rather have a Havoc. Humbling spot for the G7. Next up, Hemlock. Hemlocks, oh man. Hemlocks, you know, a lot of people say it's stupid good. I personally have never been the biggest fan of it. It's got the same bullet velocity as a wingman. I still just can't hit a bullet with it. I don't vibe with it. I don't know why. I consider the Hemlock the equivalent to the EVA 8 of assault rifles. And I would actually rather, I would probably rock an EVA 8 more often than I would rock a Hemlock. So I'm gonna put it behind the EVA 8. In terms of a primary weapon, it doesn't do as good of a job as EVA 8 does as a secondary weapon. So that's where I'm gonna leave that. This is gonna tilt some people. I gotta stay true to myself. You know, this is obviously, this whole tier list is my opinion. I think it's C tier. Next up, we have ourselves the Kraber. Like I said, this is my personal opinion, but the Kraber is something that if you play on mouse and keyboard is absolutely deadly. Some people are really good with it on controller. I'm personally not that great with it on controller. I'll put it in S tier because it's literally a one shot, one kill gun. Everybody's saying S tier in the chat. I agree, it's S tier. I can't count the amount of times that I've turned down a Kraber just to keep my flatline, or just to keep my car, or just to keep my alternator. Because, I mean, you always drop your secondary, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, I'll put it in S tier. Not gonna put it in front of the flatty or the car, because these are good old reliables, but it's up there. It's not, I'm not gonna say it's best gun in the game, because I honestly think I could perform better if I had other options in my inventory at times. That's good old Kraby spot. Next up, moving up to the L-Star. This, I think, is gonna be our first E tier weapon. The L-Star is one gun that I am never happy to see, ever. Like, I despise the look of this thing, but it's not in the corny, cheesy level of a charge rifle. It borderline is with the unlimited magazine, but it's still a gun. The charge rifle is just not even a gun. But I do think I get happier when I see a devotion than when I see an L-Star. The L-Star just makes me puke inside. So I'm gonna put it's that weird spot. It's in between charge, in between Devo for me. That's our first E tier weapon right there. I kind of like the L-Star, at least when I'm using Rampart. Maybe Rampart's a different vibe. Maybe I gotta experiment a bit more. But I think we're not so sturdy little L-Star is gonna sleep tonight. Moving on, the notorious longbow. You know, stuck in the care package all season long. The longbow is honestly one of my favorite snipers. And if I'm not using a bow check bow or a wingman or a 30-30 repeater as backup, it is my next choice of long range weaponry or sniper rifle. I don't think it's in line with B tier. I would much rather a 30-30 over a longbow. It's just more reliable up close, but it's kind of in line with the C tier weapons. I kind of get the same amount of excitement when I see a longbow, a hemlock, and an EVA8. But I'm gonna put it behind the hemlock. Like the hemlock better than the longbow. Like the Eva better than the hemlock. Definitely C tier. You guys are saying C tier, maybe lower B, B tier, A tier, really? Longbow is at least B tier. It does decent damage. It does do B tier, but like I said, I'd prefer 30-30. Moving on though. Now we have the Mastiff. Mastiff is really good. I want to say it's A tier, but I'll take a Peacekeeper over a Mastiff any day of the week. I kind of want to put it in B tier, but I don't think it is B tier. I think I'm going to put it in A tier, chat, but it might end up behind the Peacekeeper. I just can't, like, if I find a Mastiff or a 30-30 next to each other, Mastiff is 100% more sturdy to me than a 30-30 or a Havoc or something like that. Maybe low A tier. Mozambique, here we go again. I think I'm gonna have to put Mozam in E tier. It's definitely at the bottom of the barrel. I know a lot of people love it, hammer points, blah blah blah. I know a lot of people hate it in arenas because it's so good, but if you find a naked Mozambique, which is 9 times out of 10 in a pub, nobody's like saving up to get a purple bolt Mozambique. At least I'm not. Say you're trolling? I'm not trolling, chat. D tier is an E tier, C at least. How are you gonna put it in C, chat? If I find an EVA8, a hemlock, or a longbow, I'm 100% taking it over a Mozambique. It's not even close. If I find a devotion or a Mozambique, I'm taking a devotion over the Mozam. If I find an L-Star, I'm taking an L-Star over a Mozam. But I'll put it in E tier with the L-Star, but I'm still putting it behind the L-Star. P2020, this one's gonna surprise you guys. I don't know if it's because, like, maybe there's some mouse and keyboard players who are like absolutely thinking I just slapped the shite out of the Mozambique. The P2020 is nuts. The amount of damage you can do if you got a good trigger finger is disgusting. Can see myself picking up a P2020 over an L-Star. I'm not even fucking joking. And that's another thing too. We have the hammer points. P2020 with hammer points is completely a valid secondary because the P2020 has the spam ability. It's very hard to get the shields cracked with the Mozam, but with the P2020 can just rip somebody. And then as soon as you're into flesh, it's game over with the spamming. I'm gonna put it in D tier, chat, behind Devo. I think the P2020 is like leaps better than the Mozambique. Mad under it. Thank you. See, there's some people in chat backing me up, bro. This is difficult, you know? It's like going to war with you guys. Next up, we have ourselves the Peacekeeper. Peacekeeper is definitely, I'm gonna go as far as to say it's S tier, bro. Like if I'm thinking of weapons that I pick up literally almost every game on a consistent basis, I think I'm gonna put it in S tier, bro. On mouse and keyboard, I'm not as good with it. On controller, bro, I swear to you, it feels like I hit 80 to 90 every shot. I don't know if I could put it in front of the flatline, but I think I could put it in front of the car. I think I'm gonna put, because I think of the times I pick up a wingman with a Peacekeeper, an alternator and a Peacekeeper, something like a 301 and a PK. I'm gonna put S tier in front of the car, bro. Where like if you get hit smack for 90 and you only have 100 HP left, bro, I'm gonna be scared with the car. I'm gonna do like what, 25 damage in a spray unless I catch you lacking. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with PK, S tier, number 2 spot on the list, bro. Next up, we got the Prowler, chat. Prowler is definitely, in my opinion, a B tier weapon. Prowler's pretty underrated. I think I'm gonna put it in front of the Havoc. Very solid secondary. Not a lot of people use it because Prowler absolutely incinerates people when you burst. The hip fires, bro, the hip fire actually is incredible on the Prowler. It's super accurate, especially if like you can like 3 burst people. I would say it's the king of B tier. It's not like in line with the 9, but it's not, you know, it's not in line with like a EVA8 or a Hemlock or something like that. Like those are cheese in my opinion. Best burst gun, agreed. Best burst gun. You guys are saying saying easily A tier, B tier, C tier. Honestly, I'm kind of happy choosing B then. We're kind of in the middle, you know? Some of you think A, some of you think C. Now, when full auto was on the Prowler, I would consider it A tier, but for what it is in its current state in season 12, sturdy B tier. Okay, Chad, this is where the list gets a little bit juicy. We got a couple of very controversial weapons and some very sturdy weapons on the list here. I am a little conflicted as to where to put the 301 here. I definitely don't think the 301 is A tier. I think that 301 is up there in the S tier weapons. I think the 301 naturally kind of just goes behind the flatline. It's just not as versatile as the flatline. The flatline just shreds up close. Like, I feel like if I were to face myself in a 1v1 and I had a flat and a 3, I'm getting cooked by the flat every single time. It's better than the flatline. You think it's the top of S? You know, I'm finding it really difficult to say what it is because the flatline's been inside of the crafter for so long now, this whole season. Like, I feel like I've barely been able to use it. Put it this way, if you play on mouse and keyboard, chat, I would put the R301 at the top of S tier because the hipfire is still really good on it. It's not as good as the flatline, but at range, the 301 slaps the shit out of people. It's insane. On controller though, chat, due to my own limitations in my ability to control recoil at range, I'm dealing with more medium to close range encounters with these two rifles. I would rather have a flatline on controller. I mean, you guys see it when I play mouse and keyboard. I take a 301 almost every game. It's just insane, bro. That's where I'm gonna put it. R99. This one's gonna make some people absolutely scream in chat. This is automatically A tier for me, not S tier by any means. And I'm putting it behind the alternator. I mean that truthfully. I take the alternator, chat. I take the alternator over the car like 50% of the time. The damage trade-off now, like between the R9 and the alternator, just doesn't even feel, I don't know, bro. I feel like it's just personal preference at this point. And the alternator also does way more damage in a single magazine than the R99. R99, you literally have to like one clip a Wraith at point blank in order to knock her right away. Alternator, bro, I swear with the alternator, you can easily knock 2 people with a single magazine in an alternator. It's crazy. So that's where that's gonna go. Yeah, no way S tier, and alternator is way better. Alternator has way better hip fire, and SMG should have really good hip fire. I agree. And it's also just a lot more forgiving. You can miss a lot more on the alternator and still fry. Next up, we got the Sentinel. The Sentinel is not my favorite sniper. My favorite actual sniper in the game is the longbow. So I think I'm going to put Sentinel in C tier because it's kind of like the same set. When I look at all these tiers, chat, I get like a sense of satisfaction just looking at these weapons. Like, I know how I feel when I see it on the floor. I'm gonna put it C tier right behind the longbow because it's a close second. Definitely don't think it's D tier though, because it do schmack. Like, you can't tell me that Sentinel's in the same line as a P2020. Rampage is, ooh. This one is tough because I cringe by it. Like, I want to put it in F tier, but I know it's not that bad of a gun. It's definitely a D tier or E tier for me. I dislike the Rampage hipfire so much. Like, ADSing is slow as hell. It doesn't do damage fast. I dead ass almost would take a P2020 over a Rampage. Like, I'm gonna fry you way quicker, have way more movement up close, but it's silly strong. Is it silly strong though? Like, is it? I don't know, man. It's an annoying gun, but part of the reason it's annoying is because it's good. Oh shit, chat. I didn't even consider the thermite. So maybe we'll pull it out of D tier, put it in front of a hemlock, because there's certain days where I just can't fuck with the hemlock. It's just burst will make my brain melt. I think we just leave it in D tier because we think it's cringe. Yeah, but like chat said, you know, it is annoying. It does have thermite capabilities. I'll put it in C tier. That's as far as I'm gonna go with it, bro. I'm not giving it any more respect than that. Next up, chat, we got the RE45. RE45 is good. It's crazy how like they were considered in the same line with the alternator, you know, like the step bros. It's not bad by any means. I think it's a C tier weapon. Not really though. Like, these are very primary-esque weapons. RE45, I think it would be bad to put it in D. I think it's C tier. C tier, because I've dropped the RE45 for the EV8 so many times, but I'll take an RE45 over a Rampage any day, over a Hemlock. It's a baby R9, you know what I'm saying? Be normally with hammer. Oh, it has the hammer point. Shit. All these hop ups sending me in a spiral, bro. What? If I were to put it into B tier, I don't think I could go any higher than the back of it, because I'll take a 30-30 over it, a G7 over it, a Havoc over it, a Prowler over it. B tier, yeah, B tier with the hammies, because hammer points do shred. But it's just not very viable because it's just not long range. Next up, chat, we have the Spitfire. This is S tier. In its current state, in care package gun chat, like we said, G7 care package with double tap was B tier. This is definitely S tier. S tier, I'm gonna put it, do we put it in front of the, it either goes in front of the flatline and the 301 or it goes behind them. You say S tier over 301, top of S tier. I mean, no, I don't think you're wrong, because anytime I've ever picked up, not wanted to pick up a Spitfire, the only reason I didn't want to pick it up was because of my fear of running out of bullets, never performance issues. So I think, yeah, we'll put it top of S tier. In terms of sturdy, reliable, melt your soul, make people want to uninstall this game if they die to it, weapon, this has to be at the top of the list, bro. Triple take, chat. Triple take is gonna be our next weapon. I'm kind of leaning towards A tier. I don't think it's a B tier weapon. It's too good. Like up close, it fries people like a shotgun. At range, it's still valid, but I don't think it's as good as it has been in other seasons. So I am kind of leaning towards B tier. But then if I put it in B tier, I don't know if I could put it behind any of these guns. A tier because it's decently good at close range. That's what puts it leaps ahead any of these rifles, is the fact that it is good at close range. I think it's an A tier weapon, bro. I mean, I'll consistently look for a triple take on controller as my secondary to like an R9, an ulti. There's got to be ranged weapons in A tier, and if there's going to be two ranged weapons in A tier, it's definitely bow check and triple take. Volt, chat. Oh baby, the Volt. Whew. Okay, the Volt I'm going to automatically put in S tier as well, but I don't think it's as good as the Spitfire. Only because the Spitfire is so broken. In terms of what I like better, I obviously like the Volt better than the Spitfire, but we just can't deny how unbelievably broken the Spitfire is. Stupid large magazine, stupid damage. It just melts. You can literally get a squad wipe in a single magazine. I do think that the Volt is better than the 301, the flatline, because it's pretty much the hybrid gun of the game. It does what the car SMG does with damage. It does what the 301 does in accuracy, and it does what the flatline does in terms of hip fire accuracy. It's kind of like the perfect package, you know what I mean? You rock a Volt with a wingman, bro, there's nothing you can't do. And that leaves us with the final weapon of our season 12 tier list, the wingman. This gun is, I don't think I've ever actually been able to, I'm calling this a formal setting because we're doing a tier list right now. The wingman is my favorite gun in video game history. It used to be the UMP 45 from Call of Duty, but the wingman is just so iconic, so ruthless. They've nerfed this thing 25 million times, and it's still the undisputed champion of the motherfucking world, bro. This is top of S tier for me, bro. It's top of S tier for me. You could give a really good player a single wingman, no secondary, bro, and they can cook a Spitfire user. They can cook a Volt guy up close. It cooks up close. It cooks at range. It's stupid good medium range, bro. There's just no better one-man army package of a gun than the wingman, bro. The wingman is in S tier. It's not S plus tier. It's not S plus plus tier. It's plus 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 plus. It takes mad practice, but I think this is a sturdy list. We took our time. We've been here for about 45 minutes to an hour, I feel like. I think this is our season 12 updated tier list. And yeah, man, that's gonna wrap up our season 12 tier list, bro. That's it, man. Thanks for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, consider subscribing to the channel. If you guys want to participate in the next tier list that we'll be making for Legends, you can follow me on Twitch, which is where it'll happen live. And if you guys haven't watched our last tier list on all the heirlooms in Apex Legends, you can watch that video over here. Click it, and I'll catch you guys in the next one, man. Have a good rest of your day. Keep up, stay up. Peace out.